Okay. Looks like we should be good to go. Hello, JCPS. Welcome to the Digital Learning Channel. I hope you're doing well on this wonderful Wednesday afternoon. Hopefully, you're watching this outside or while you're taking a walk with your dog or your cat, if you're that kind of person. My name is Matt Bolka with the Digital Innovation Team. I'm super happy to have you here with us to talk about Savvas today. Before we get going and before we turn it over to Laura and her team, let's talk about a couple different things. So while you're here on the Digital Learning Channel, please subscribe to us. You'll be notified every time we go live. You can also see that we have a Savvas support playlist here. We have 40 videos on here. So we always update these whenever we have new sessions on our live shows, so you can stay up to date on everything going on, and you can go back and watch those with the power of pause when you need to. Also remember, we have Savvas and Edmentum the rest of the week. So tomorrow we have 2 sessions of Edmentum at 9 let's try that again. From 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., Edmentum with Summer Barents, and then she'll be back from 3 to 4 o'clock. And then on Friday, we will end our week of Savvas with Laura and her team again at 9 and then again at 3. Also, remember, you can follow us on Twitter at JCPSDigIn, which stands for Digital Innovation. When you tweet, use the hashtag JCPSDigIn. That way we can find what you're tweeting, we can see it, we can like it, we can share it, and continue to spread that wonderful brilliance that you're doing with your students around our district. So, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Laura and her team.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself, and then I'll ask Donna and Krista to introduce themselves also. I am your Customer Success Manager for JCPS. Donna?
Good afternoon. I'm Donna Koss, and I support the My Perspectives ELA 6-12 program.
And good afternoon, everybody. I'm Chris Peterson. I support 6-12 math, Envision Math. And I'm going to be monitoring the chat today, and we'll be happy to pass along any questions to the presenters, and happy to help you anytime you need us.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. All right. Tell me if I'm sharing.
Yeah, we can see it.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and present and then put the caption on.
You're a professional, Laura. I love it.
Technology in my background. Okay, so welcome everybody. I want to go ahead and review our agenda for today. We're going to review the teacher login. We're going to review how the teacher import classes to Realizes, discussion of the Savvas Google Classroom, student experience, and above all, support. How can we support you? Our goal is to assist you with in-person and remote learning of our Savvas programs. Your students have been using during the NTI. This is a great way to expose your students to grade level content. Okay, so we're going to start off with you logging into your JCPS Quick Links. You go to your JCPS Quick Links. We're going to go ahead and select Clever. Once you select Clever, you're going to see inside the portal that you have the Savvas EasyBridge link. I made this a little bigger so you could see it and know what it is. You can always come here. You can right click and make this a favorite, and it'll show up in the favorites up here. One thing that we want to stress is that you do not bookmark this EasyBridge link. Teachers always access Savvas EasyBridge through your Clever portal. All right, so once we go ahead and we select the EasyBridge link, it's going to take us to the Savvas EasyBridge Plus page. We want to go ahead and go over here to the right bottom and select Realize. If you have not already set up and completed your profile, your next step will be to set up the profile. First thing we're going to look at is what grades do you teach? We're going to go ahead and select the grades. The next page will be what programs do you teach? Your programs are going to be consistent with what you're teaching. However, if you want to grab other programs that will help you and assist you in your teaching, go right ahead and select those. We can add and remove them. And if you have questions about doing that, we can go ahead and go live like we did the last presentation. Please let us know what your questions are as we're reviewing this, and we can go ahead and customize this presentation. Our next step is Set up Realize account. What is your name? Obviously, I'm going to put in Mrs. Mention. Set up the Realize account. Go ahead and you can select anything. We're moving into spring, so I'm going to select the butterfly. And then the next one is pick your image background. A lot of times with our videos and stuff, you'll see the frog. So you might want to select the frog, or maybe you want to be different and select the butterfly. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we select the I agree to the license agreement. There's a lot of times when the teachers come to this area and they try to select Let's Go without selecting the I agree to the license agreement. Another thing that we want to let you know is that the profile sometimes takes a little while to go ahead and bring everything together. They're putting together your background, they're putting your programs together, your grade levels. So it might take a little while. So please be patient and wait for that. All right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go into the import classes. After you've set up the profile, you're going to come to this page. It's our Savvas Realize homepage. And you're always going to know that you're in the Savvas Realize by seeing this little logo on the left-hand side. There's two ways to import your classes, and then going to the person icon on your right-hand side. Option 1, which is classes, you'll select that and you can hit Get Started. Once you hit Get Started, you select Import Classes from Google Classroom. Option 2 is going to the right-hand side, which is the person icon, and then selecting Settings. Once you select this page, you'll have 3 tabs: Account, My Programs, and About Me. When we want to import the classes, we're going to come down here to the account linking, and we made this a little bigger so you could see it, and you'd select Get Started. Both of those options are going to take you to your JCPS school email account. Please select the JCPS. Do not use your personal email account. We want to go ahead and then select Allow. You'll click the Allow to grant Realize permissions to your Google Classroom. You only do this once. So once you're done with that and say Allow, it won't show up again. It's possible that after you go ahead and select your JCPS email and then Allow, you might get this page that says, uh-oh, and don't get panic. All we have to do is select the disconnect and then reconnect. Sometimes you're tied to a basic account, and what we need to do is get you aligned to the integrated account. After we get through the import, you're going to go ahead and select your classes. You'll see that Mrs. Daniels' class is here. I would select Mrs. Daniels' class. And then we would go ahead and we would select our programs. You want to select the Savvas Realize programs that you want associated with this particular class. You want to make sure that, or keep in mind that you can only add one program at a time. So from here, she selected it. It's giving her the connected, and then we're going to go ahead and select Finish View Classes. If your classes don't show up, so if you've gone through all of this and you've come to the page where you're supposed to select your classes and they don't show up, please, again, don't panic. We're going to go ahead and select I'd like to import later. Sometimes your classes are associated with another class. Maybe you're a co-teacher and the core teacher is already selected class. This is an error that's going to come up and you're not going to have your class on this page. All we're going to do is select I'd like to import later, and then we'll come to this Realize page. You're going to see that you have successfully imported your class with Realize. You're going to see the Google Chalkboard icon, and then voila, we've got it. We're imported the classes. One thing I want to point out on our slide presentation is that we have embedded these videos everything that I just showed you, you can select here and you can see it done live, step by step. So there's a lot of times where people are different learners, they're visual learners. We've taken you through a step-by-step process here, but maybe you want to see it done live. So please, after the presentation is over, we're going to have it shared out, the presentation, and you'll be able to click on this video and see it live. Okay, I want to stop because I can't see the chat. So Donna and Chris, do we have any questions?
Yeah, the
Actually,
only question we've
Chris, go
gotten so
ahead.
far that I'm not sure about, Laura, is when a substitute is there, are they going to be able to access this our Realize programs through Savvas?
I would say with policies of most school districts, the answer would be no. Somehow they would have some I don't know, Matt, can you answer that with your policies?
Yeah, sorry. So I'm trying to think, like, if the sub is long term, we could probably get them added to the Google Classroom. But if it's just like a sub for one day, I mean, your students would just go through Savvas and access it if it was work that they were doing on their own. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, like substitute plans,
Uh-huh.
you would hope that the teacher would go ahead and do the substitute plans prior, and that student would have the assignments for the next day. Hopefully that answers the question. If not, that would be a question that would go back to your district.
Uh-huh.
That's what I was going to type, but wanted to be sure. And Laura, that's the only question we've got as of right now.
Okay, all right. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to review a couple items that detail the Savvas Realize in Google Classroom. The one thing that we want to talk about is your Savvas Realize is integrated with Google, and your sync is going to be automatic. Our platform auto rosters with the Infinite Campus, and when a student is enrolled or withdraws, the two systems sync overnight, and you'll see it within the Realize platform and your Google roster. One thing that we want to point out, that when we are in our Savvas Realize and we are signing assignments, that we always want to work within Realize. Realize is the system of record. It changes. If any changes happen, we want to make sure that the assignments, such as adding, removing, maybe editing, scoring, all those changes will be done within the Realize platform. And again, to know the difference, whether you're in the Google platform or the Realize platform, you can always look up here on the left-hand side and see the Savvas Realize logo. The last presentation, we went live on adding an assignment. If that's something that someone wants to see, we can go ahead and do that later. But right now, we're just going to go ahead and discuss how we go ahead and add an assignment. So once you've gone into the system, you've browsed, you've found your assignment, you go ahead and select the assignment. You would come here to the start date, the due date, and then you might put some instructions in. The way that we can go ahead and select a class, we go ahead and maybe Mrs. Daniels, I would select the M, and it's automatically going to pop up and I can select that whole entire class. Now, if I wanted to do an individual student because maybe they need more help or maybe, further assignments that would benefit them, you would go ahead and say Missy Smith, and you would type in M, and then Missy Smith is going to show up right here. And again, if you want to see that go live, we can do that for you a little later in the presentation. Or do we have a request for that now?
No request. I'm getting some notes down.
Okay.
So when we have a chance towards the end, we'll be able to answer some of these questions about looking at specific things within our Realize platform.
All right, great. Thank you, Chris. All right, again, I want to make sure that we're specifying that we are doing our assignments in Realize, and this is a Realize page. Add the assignments to class. You can add it to individuals or groups. Once the assignment is assigned in Realize, it will appear in your teacher classroom down here. It usually takes about 30 seconds. And once a student finishes an assignment, you could also see that in Google Classroom. And so will the students. When the students are finished with their assignment within Realize, they can see what they scored. Again, here's another video that will show how the student can go in and see their assignments. This page here is our Realize reports. I would like to ask Donna to go ahead and review what the Realize reports can do for you, how deep dive you can do as a teacher.
Okay, they're actually, when you go to your data tab, you'll see on the top of Laura's screenshot that you've got that black toolbar up there, and you'll see data up there, or you can click on the circle or the rectangle for your class. We've got several different kinds of reports that you'll have here. You can see scores, you can see the usage, and you can see the completion data. And what you're showing right here is after you, the graphs are all interactive. And so if you click on them, this is actually one of the item analysis reports that you can get. We have 4 different types of item analysis reports. And this one is looking at mastery by standard. And so you can see it's cumulative over time. You can see the student, the percent that they've mastered. You can see the number of times they've been asked a question of that particular standard. And it helps you, the teacher, differentiate your instructions so that you can review that standard with just the students who need more practice with that standard, as opposed to reteaching the entire lesson or making all students go over something. So they're very, very informational and can really help you, again, differentiate and target those students who really need a little more work.
And then also right here, there's the export data. You can also export this data if you wanted to look at it in a Excel format and maybe manipulate the data in a different way. Here's another class results by assignment. Chris, do you want to go ahead and review what the class results by assignments tells us?
Yeah, on these reports that you get from mastery reports, there are 3 pieces that are given to you. You get scores, which you can see are enlarged over there on the right. Then the second one is progress, showing how much students have accomplished. And then the last one is usage. Now, the nice thing about it, each one of these bar graphs is interactive. So when you're live on the Realize platform, the cursor arrow will actually change to a hand where you can grab from that bar graph, and it will show you more itemized and detailed data. The nice thing also about all of these is they can be exported with the button up top, and they come out as a Excel document. So these are very useful when you're meeting in teams to plan for instructional strategies for your students. They're useful when you have parent conferences. They can be saved as a PDF and sent to parents. So these reports from Realize are very, very nice.
All right, so any questions about possibly how the teacher login, anything about Realize before we move on to the student experience? We got a quiet group today. All right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move on to the student experience. All the students are going to log in via Google Classroom. We have the classroomgoogle.com here. We also have this link if you wanted to use it. Make sure, I really want to emphasize that the teacher logs in via the Clever portal and the student logs in through Google Classroom. Once the student logs into their Google Classroom, they're going to see an assignment by the teacher, the Realize thing. So when the teacher goes in, they make the assignment, the student is going to go ahead and log in, and they're going to see their first assignment. They'll select this Realize assignment. They're going to get a splash page that says, take me there now. They're going to select that, take me there now. They're going to select the school email account that they've been assigned. Please make sure that if they're on a device that they're sharing, that they make sure they're selecting their school email account. They're also going to get this allow, like the teacher did. And this, again, is only going to be a one-time selection. Once they go ahead and get past the allow, they're going to see the assignment. Again, they're going to know that they're in the Savvas Realize platform by seeing the icon on the left-hand side. They're in Mrs. Daniel's class and is attached to the Google Classroom. This is their assigned work, and they're going to go ahead and select that. Once the student is done with their assignment, they're going to go ahead and turn it in. On all of our assignments, you have to turn it in. It might be here, and sometimes there's multiple items within the assignment, and they might come over here and turn it in here. But we have to stress to the students that they'll always turn it in. Once they turn it in, they're going to get feedback on the Realize page. And I'm going to go ahead and ask Donna to review what possibly they can see in their Realize report when they get to it.
So as long as the students are taking something that's automatically scored, they're going to be able to see their result almost immediately as soon as they hit submit. And when they do that, again, depending on what they're taking, so if it's a test or a quiz, one of the assessments, they're going to be able to see exactly what they got right, what they got wrong, what standard that's related to, and it may point out to them where they need more work and what they need to go back and look at. Again, depending on the program, there's built-in remediation. So if a student doesn't score high enough, they'll be automatically assigned extra things to do to meet those standards that they didn't meet in whatever that assessment may have been. But it does just depend on what they take. The feedback would be different depending on the program and the grade level.
Thank you, Donna. So the student can see what was the grade that they have on the assignment. Obviously, it will say graded, and you'll just point it out that this student got 88 out of 100. So they're going to be able to see their grade in Google Classroom and also see a summary in Realize. Okay, any questions so far? Or do Donna and Chris, do you want to add anything that I possibly left out?
No, we're doing great so far. Donna and I are making a list of things that we want to go live and show some of the teachers in a few moments when you give us time. But the only one we've gotten so far is hiding or deleting assignments. And Melanie Robbins just asked a question. Melanie, our Savvas products, she asked if even though your school has a different program, can you still use our map? Melanie, this is about our products are available to every teacher in the district. So if you're not familiar with ours and your school has purchased another program from another company, we'll be glad to work with you on starting this implementation for the Envision Math program. And I'll be glad to get with you, and my contact information will be shared with you momentarily.
Okay, so do you want to go ahead and review anything now before we go into the support document? I think that would be more helpful than going into the support, reviewing things before we get into the support.
I'm actually going to let Donna do that this afternoon, so I'm going to let Donna take it away if you're ready for her to go now.
Okay.
And I'll keep a monitor on the chat, and we'll relay questions to Donna of what they're wanting her to show.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and export, get out of here, and I'm going to stop sharing, Donna. And if you'd like to share your desktop, that would be great. And I don't see anything in the chat, so I apologize. I rely on Donna and Chris to read everything. Okay.
All right, are you seeing my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so I have my Realize set up over here. When it comes to hiding assignments, so this is my fake, let me make sure I'm in my fake teacher. Okay. When you come here to classes, one thing I can point out now that I'm live, Laura pointed out your icon that you'll know that your class is connected to Google when you see this icon. You simply click on assignments. And in this case, I'm actually showing my perspectives. I'm pretty sure this is 9th grade. This is an example of a bundled assignment. And I'm already forgetting, Laura, because I've watched your presentation so many times. Have you already you already went through the signing, correct?
Yes. It was just, you make the assignment and this is how you make the assignment. So yes, I've already done that.
Okay. I call this bundled because I put more than one activity in one assignment. And so you can assign things one at a time when you click assign, or you can fill in those little check marks in the boxes to the left of all of the different assets. And that's what I would call bundling. And then when you go to your assignments and you click on it, this little side panel opens up. And you'll see that you have some actions that you can do right here. You can edit the assignment, but I will warn you, this will even tell you right here, heads up, the start date has passed. If the assignment has already gone out to the students, you can't take it back. It's out there, some students may have seen it, they may have started working on it, so you can't take it back, but you can always change the due date and extend it farther. So that's one thing you can do here. But here's what I was talking about, and Chris mentioned, you can hide the assignment. And by clicking hide, you hid it from the student view. They would no longer have access to it. And so it's important to point out they can always work on things after the due date. And if you had enough, you've given them 3 weeks to work on something, it's due, you can't do it anymore, you can come here and hide it. This is also a handy feature to use if you're gonna use the digital assessments, and maybe you don't want them to take the quiz or the test until they're in front of you. So you can assign it and then come here, hide it, wait until they're in front of you, unhide it, let them take it. It helps cut down on things like cheating. And you also from here, you can preview and you can score. But I will, since I'm here, I'll just show you what a bundled assignment looks like in that I see all 3 of my pieces are right here, and I can review each one of those pieces if I decide. Anything else you think we need to hit, Chris or Laura?
I don't know if you...
I've got your text message going. I'm sending you a text. Will you show Sarah Francisco what the early learning theme looks like? Can you get to that in one of your classes, please?
Sure. So let me come out to one of my classes. Oh, I have to totally get out of here. So here are my classes again. If I come to my class settings and I scroll down to the bottom, here is where I can see the difference between the default theme on the left and the early learning theme on the right. And you'll notice it really cuts down on the amount of text on the page. We're giving the students a lot less to read. It's brighter, the buttons are a little bigger, and it's really valuable, especially for our primary students K-2. And all you would have to do is click on this button and click save. And after you do that, instead of when the students log in and they see this default, they're automatically going to see this early learning theme. You could also go to students and groups. I'm going to continue without saving. And notice here, this went to the bottom. Top and bottom, it says change student theme. And if I click here, I can select particular students that I think would benefit from having less to read, having less to look at, and then simply click save, and then only those students would have the early learning theme when they log in. So you have that option to do your entire class or pick individual students. Is there anything else, Chris?
There is nothing as of right now, Donna. Sarah, I hope that answered your question, though. Feel free to drop me a line. in the chat and let me know that was covered sufficiently.
Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing then, Laura, and hand it back over to you.
Laura, before you get started, you're muted. I don't want you to start presenting and then have to come back out of it.
All right, can you hear
there
me
you go.
now?
Yep.
All right, thank you so much. I didn't realize, I know I took myself off. Let's see, we're gonna go ahead and present. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go ahead and select, we're gonna look at our support. We're gonna talk about the Savvas support, then we're gonna talk about JCPS support, and then last but not least, we're gonna talk about our Partnership Plus support. All right, so the very first thing we're going to talk about is when you're within Realize. There is a question mark within the Realize program, and if you select help for this page, basically what that's going to do, it's going to bring up a search window with a bunch of text and a bunch of help for the page, the specific page that you're on. So if you are on a page and you're like, well, I really don't know what I need to do here, you can go ahead and select that help, and it's going to show you what the page is about. And you can also search within that to go find out other things. The other area that we have on the question mark is the program training. This is going to take us out to our My Savvas training website. And you'll see on the right-hand side, there's a link. So once you get the slide presentation, you're going to be able to come here and click on that link. What I want to say about the Savvas training site is a 24/7 place to go ahead and view like videos that take you through so many things. And I'm going to go ahead and try to go through the support as fast as I can so we can go back to my Savvas training website. I think it's very important, but if we don't get back there because maybe there's other questions, I want you to know that all you have to do is come here to sign in and then create a new account. If you already have an account and you forgot your password, all you have to do is the forgot password. All right, the next area that we're going to talk about is the technical support. So we have a technical support page that you can come to, and you can go to all the different areas here. This here highlights login help, just like we just reviewed. Set up your classroom and Realize, just like we're reviewing now. So you can always come to this link if you forgot what we said or need review. Go ahead and select this. And I want to go ahead and point out some of the really important pages that are on the technical support pages for your Google Classroom and EasyBridge integration. These are the frequently asked questions that the teachers have. You can go ahead and, again, account linking. Maybe you want to look about and learn about the Realize Reader, or possibly if you're having sync issues, you can come here and select this and look at the other items that maybe other people had questions and the solutions. Of course, that's what you're looking for, is solutions. And then our page, our Realize help page, this page is really, really busy. And what I want to do is I want to point out a couple things on this page is our what's new. The what's new, we have Mosaic Digital Learning Library, and that is, we have like 80,000 created and standard aligned learning objects. They include like learning games and SEL resources. Chris, how would you describe the Mosaic Digital Learning Library if you were in front of a training? Go ahead and talk about how you utilize that as a teacher.
The Mosaic piece is additional resources outside of the Savvas platform. It's a vetted and monitored educational library, basically, is what it is. It has games, it has assessments, it has instructional videos that you can incorporate. And the nice thing about it is you can actually assign right from that Mosaic platform into your Realize feed. So when you assign it from there, it goes automatically directly to your student's Google Classroom. So don't forget, when you're assigning, you're going to be assigning as the teacher from your Realize platform, but your students are going to access their work through their Google Classroom. but the Mosaic is very nice because there's tons of resources and you can assign directly from it.
Okay, thank you. Another area that I wanted to highlight is our interactive PDF assignments. This is where teachers can assign a PDF activity, and each individual student will receive a copy of the PDF. This enables the student to interact with the assignments, and it also allows the teachers, they can go ahead and give feedback on the PDF. Donna, how would you describe the interactive PDF assignments and how teachers can utilize it?
Actually, I think Chris did a great job earlier this morning showcasing that. The PDFs, once they're downloaded, they have really awesome tools in the header that the students can use. They have a drawing tool. They can insert their text boxes and they can type right into the PDFs. They can print them out if they happen to have a printer at home, or teachers can decide if they want it when you're back face to face. Maybe this is something you'd rather use as a hands-on. Kids have been using so much digital that maybe you want them to do a paper to pencil with it, and you can print it out, and the kids can use it in a traditional sense. But those can just be turned in that way. Teachers would then, they'll come on as, when they turn it in, the teachers can open it up and they can see everything that the kids did and how they marked it up with their highlights or whatever they typed in, or the different drawing tools and things that they did. So they're really awesome, interactive, and just kind of a vital tool for what we're doing right now in our classrooms.
Right. And if we want to go ahead and go live, if you have questions at the end, we can go highlight that. We're just trying to get through as much as possible, but we will stop and highlight anything that you ask for. The one area that I wanted to go ahead and talk about is at the top of the programs, classes, assignments, data, and support links. When you go ahead and select programs, you're going to get this drop-down menu. You're going to be able to explore anything about the programs, the playlist. We've done many JCPS videos on this. My library, maybe possibly you want to learn how to add more programs. In the classes area, we have many areas to highlight. One area I like to talk about is the discussions. Chris, would you want to go ahead and describe what you can do within the discussions in the Realize Reader?
Yeah, the discussion prompts are very valuable. They provide you a formative assessment piece where you can gauge how your students are with a topic. In the Realize Reader, all of their text can be
I think we lost
highlighted. They can circle, the vocabulary words and everything like that. So those tools within there are very valuable in the Realize Reader, and the discussion prompts also, which I know the formative assessment right now during virtual instruction is one of those difficult areas, but really the discussion prompts are very valuable for that.
Yeah, I agree. Dinah, you want to add anything? I really love the discussion prompts. Is there anything you would like to add?
Oh, sorry, need to come off mute. One of the things I like, especially with what we're facing right now, is just the ability to use the discussion tool to keep your kids together. With having both synchronous and asynchronous learning that you still have to deal with, it's nice to have a platform like the discussion board where you can have kids still interact with one another, whether they're in front of you or whether they're still remote. They're still part of the class. They can still discuss with their peers. It's great for asynchronous learning that you could give them a discussion to work on, and over a week's time, as you continue to work through a topic or a lesson, and they're, I guess I look at this more from the older students' perspective, but as their opinions change and grow, you can see that happening right in front of you with the discussions. So they're just a wonderful tool to be inclusive of all of your students, whether they're in front of you or not.
Great point. All right, and then we have our assignments. And earlier in the presentation, the question was about edit and hide. If you had a question, we weren't there to support you, you would come here and you could go ahead and go to edit and hide, and it would give you a step-by-step instructions. And then our data, if you wanted to go ahead and learn anything about the data, we discussed a couple pages of what the teacher can see and what the student can see. But if you have any questions, maybe you want to learn how to export your data, you would go ahead and select this drop-down menu. And I'm going to skip over the support because that's what we're reviewing right now. Any questions on the support pages within Realize? All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to the Realize YouTube. Again, we have our link here. I don't really have to explain YouTube. Everybody knows what it is. We had a question earlier about the early learning theme. If you would have came, like maybe you wanted to review that, maybe you want to see what the early learning theme looks like on a student side, you can come in here and you can type in early learning theme, and there is a video on that. All right, so we're going to talk about our great JCPS support. We work very closely with Steve and Nikki. Nikki helps us out by answering your questions. We have Steve that's in charge of the Digital Learning Channel. We have so enjoyed coming on, giving these videos. And as Matt, I think Matt, you pointed out that we had 40 videos and it looks like 300 views. And then after this week, we'll probably have 48 videos because of what we're doing. But do you want to go ahead and plug the Digital Learning Channel, Matt?
Yeah, that would be great. So yes, we do have the Digital Learning Channel, which is what you're currently watching on right now. But we have tons of support playlists here, not just Savvas, but everything. But if you look through here, we have so many videos on Savvas. We have ELA Elementary. We have Savvas and Middle School Science. All of them are kind of varying in length because of the different trainings that we did throughout the year. I think most of those came in like maybe November and December. But those are there for you to go back and watch with the power of pause. Yeah, we've got 304 views now, so we've had a few more that have come along the past week or so. But yeah, we do have playlists for everything else. So we have playlists for teachers during NTI, principals during NTI, new employees, classroom community, Nearpod, Pear Deck, all the different stuff on here that you could ever want to know about. And if you find something on there that you don't see, please reach out to one of your digital innovation leaders for your zone. You should be able to find that by going to Twitter and looking at our at JCPS Dig In. You can see on the image that I'm showing you right now the innovation leaders for each zone, and I will actually select that tweet and paste it into our chat just in case you don't have that information. So
thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. All right. So we're going to move on to a ticket that the JCPS support team has made. We go ahead and we can look at this and you can see that 1 through 5 steps. And what they've done is created a video for you to go through this live. And I have the link here just in case you need it. And then they've also created a document that highlights what we're doing right now. Get started on Savvas Realize video. How teachers will add assignments in Savvas Realize. So you can go out and get this link. You can look at all the videos. I want to make sure that we go and say that the live chat and video conferencing is at jcps.me/help and submitting an ISM ticket at jcps.me/ticket. All right, so we're done with that. What I want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to talk about our Partnership Plus coaches. You have access to all of our coaches. What I'd love for you to do is embrace our coaches, get their emails, get them to go ahead and help you to support and assist. So with the fidelity of our programs and the implementation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show the Padlets. They have created a Padlet. And again, we have the link here on the right-hand corner, and we could possibly type that in the chat window if we wanted to. You are going to have access to the whole entire presentation. So I'm going to stop and I'm going to pause and I'm going to ask Chris and Donna to highlight a little area of their Padlet. I'm going to go ahead and select the Padlet. We're going to go out live to the Padlet, and then Donna or Chris, I don't care who talks first, but I want you to go ahead and highlight what this Padlet is going to do for our JCPS teachers.
I guess I'll start. So you can see this is the whole team, right? We've got ELA K-5, 6-12. We've got Chris here with math, but we also have our elementary math K-5. And then we have Kelly that does all of the science. At the very end, I have put on some resources that apply to the platform, or just the Savvas Realized website. We've had some questions about how to remove programs, so I threw a handout up there. How I put in some things about how to get your e-text link in your Google Classroom, how to make playlists. And then in my particular case, doing ELA 6 to 12, and actually this is the same for everybody, we have our flyers listed first so that you have our contact information and can reach out to us at any time to get some extra support. And then under that, I just have other handouts that I think were most relevant for my perspectives. Just kind of a getting started with my perspectives, how to create playlists in particular with my perspectives. And I'll wait for Laura because now I can't remember the third one I put on there. Oh, the editable documents. And we did get that question again this morning. You can customize a lot of the items that are contained in Savvas Realized. You can customize the website itself. You can, some programs, again, I can't speak for all of them. My Perspectives has a lot of downloadable Word documents that can be edited. Chris is going to show you the PDFs. Different programs have different types of things, but digital assessments can all be customized as well. So I threw that handout up there to help with how to edit. So Chris, what do you want to share about yours?
On the Padlet, I've got my flyer up there first, as all of us do. So you'll always be able to find out how to reach us. After that, I've got 3 documents. One is for 6 to 8. There's my flyer. So one of them is for grades 6, 8. And it's just pieces of our Envision math program that I have matched up to the instructional framework of JCPS to kind of let you know the pieces of our Envision program that would help you in that area of your instruction. So that's the second document, which is for grades 6 through 8. And then the high school AGA program is actually a little bit different. So I've done the same thing for the high school program and created how our pieces within the, we call them assets, how the pieces of the Envision program fit into the instruction for high school teachers. And then the last thing that I would have in my section there is I've actually taken our program again and pulled out the pieces that relate to the teaching of the 8 mathematical practices. So you could use any of those 3 pieces, depending on the grade, 6 through 8 or K through 12, 9 through 12. And then the last one is for everybody. So I've done that.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to our presentation.
Laura, if I can interrupt for a second.
Nope.
Somebody asked if they can get just the Padlet. It is a part of the presentation that Matt has shared, but I wondered if, Matt, you were able to just share the link for the Padlet as well.
Yep, I'm grabbing it right now.
Fantastic, thanks.
All right, thanks. All right, so this is the flyers. Just wanted to show that each one of them have their flyers. And on some of them, they have appointment booking. So if you see the flyers, you can do their appointment booking. And I know that Bernita and Robin have office hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and you can go to those also. I believe that Kelly has, I think she works with you with the appointment booking. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. Chris, Kelly, and I all have a Cloud HQ link built into our flyers so that you can pick a time that works for you.
Yeah, and then we have Linda's. She has a Tuesday and Thursday appointments also. She has like an open office. The same, I think, hopefully they're not the same time, but they might be. All right, so here we have our email links for each one of our grade level content power Partnership Plus coaches. So you will get this. You will be able to select their names and be able to go ahead and contact them. I really, really want you to reach out to them, utilize them. They are here to make you successful and make it easier for you to teach in person and remote learning. So I'm going to go ahead and go to question and answers. I don't know what our time is. Well, we got 10 minutes, so we can go ahead and answer any questions. We can go inside the program. You have 2 Partnership Plus coaches here. You can ask questions to.
Laura, a couple of things teachers wanted me to show them. Can I take over the screen share for a few moments, please?
Oh, I'm going to stop my sharing right now. I'm so glad that you guys are asking questions so we can go ahead. We did this presentation and did the basic, but it's so much nicer when you can go into the program when we can answer your questions. So thank you for participating.
All righty. At the Realize homepage, browse is where you're going to get into your program. Classes is where you're going to find your class assignments to go back and review the student work. And then data is where you will see all those nice reports from assessments. The browse, let's go into, looks like a pretty elementary group today, so we're going to use grade 2. And I'll show you, our programs are divided into topics. Okay, and then after the topics, it breaks it down even further and gets into lessons. So within the lesson, you'll see the different parts of it. And this assign button is where you're going to assign to your class. So you will click the assign button and you'll get a pop-up window. You'll have to choose the date and the due date. Then the nice thing over here is that when you start to enter your class, it auto-populates. So you can just choose that class that you're wanting to assign. Okay? You can even get specific and assign start and end times. I don't know what you're about that, but that is there for you. So and then you would click assign, and remember, students are going to access it through Google Classroom. You're assigning through Realize, but your students access it through Google Classroom. So we talked a little bit about the customizing. So when you get to a piece down here, let's see here, well, let me find it right here, okay? You will see some, well, where is it? You will see some that do not have a customized button on here. That's because it's hidden underneath the More button, okay? So always check, okay? Always check. If you don't see a customized button, click More, and then you can go in and customize it from there, okay? So, and you can delete questions if you think the piece is too long, and click Done to save it. Now, the nice thing about this, everybody, is that once you do that, you still have the original copy here, but here's your copy that you just customized. So it saves it, you still have access to both of them. And this doesn't go away at the end of the year. We leave that for you year after year. We will not take your customized pieces away from you, okay? The Mosaic tool, let me talk about that, finding those outside resources. Let's say that I'm dealing with fractions, okay? And I click search. I use that magnifying glass up in the upper right. So then after I click that and the wheel spins for, I don't know, let's see, 10 seconds, maybe 15. There we go, okay? Here are all of the pieces that are available for you on fractions within our program. But this black button right here is what you're wanting to click, because now it's going to take you outside of Savvas, outside of that program from Savvas, and into the Mosaic realm, okay? And all pieces, they're not broken down by grade, which is kind of frustrating, but you'll see over here at the left that there are videos and games and assessments and things like that. But remember, I told you earlier, the nice thing is that you can assign straight from this platform, okay? You can go straight there and assign it to your class that you're wanting to get that piece, okay? So once again, I went to the magnifying glass, I typed in fractions, and then up to the right, instead of looking at all the Savvas pieces, I click the little black box that, come on, Will, that takes me to Mosaic right here, okay? So that's how you use that. Now, let's look at the PDF editing tools. That's the last thing that I have that was on my list. So now I want to show you, I am now logged in as a student, okay? When we work with you, we have what we call dummy accounts, where we can be the teacher and you teachers actually get to see what it looks like from the student view. So let's look at it. As a student, I'm going to see my assignments under classes, okay? It shows I've got none that I haven't started. I've got 6 in progress and 1 that's completed. We're going to go to a PDF that is Build Mathematical Literacy from our Envision program, okay? So when the student clicks on that, they're going to get this page, and up here at the top, these are all the PDF editing tools. There are pins, okay? And you can see I drew a couple of triangles earlier because it asked me to draw triangles, I think. They can insert text boxes, okay? What are the dimensions of the sleeping section? I don't know, 4 by 4, okay? We'll put that. So these are the nice editing tools up here that students have to complete their work digitally. They can print it. The nice thing is if they're that pencil and paper person, they can print these at home if they have a printer. And you're wondering, Chris, how do they get it back to me if it's pencil and paper? Well, after they print it, they would have to take a picture and they can actually insert an image right here. So if they would rather do it on pencil and paper, they can upload an image to their homework and then turn it in to you guys, the teacher, so you can go back and look at it, okay?
Sure.
Let me go back to the teachers, okay? When you want to go back, you're going to go to classes to access that student work. You're going to go to your class, and I'm going to go to the first grade class under assignments. And these are the different assignments that I've created for this example class that I have, okay? So I would click on it to see what students have done, what kind of work they have done, and it's going to give me all sorts of details and whatnot like that.
Okay, Chris.
Donna, is there any that has popped up since I've been sharing, please?
No, I think you have just everyone's raptured attention. No new question.
All right, so we only have 4 minutes, and since you have the wheel, Chris, I want you to go to my Pearson training, and I want to make sure that you show everyone that we have a wonderful 24/7 website, that we have videos and trainings on there. Can you do that for me really quick? Because I don't want them to miss out on that.
How about if we go to my Savvas training?
Yeah, that's what I said, didn't I?
I typed in my Pearson training
Oh,
just
okay.
out of
Did I say something wrong? Okay. All right, go ahead.
So-
We only got 3 minutes, so go ahead and make sure we show that we can go to the videos,
Yeah.
and from all the on-demand videos that we have, that if they can't contact you, or maybe they've contacted you and they want to review what you discussed. Please doing this, please reach out to our Partnership Plus coaches. You can reach out to me, but please utilize them.
Let's see. I hope I can remember my login. It's been a while since I got here.
Oh no, I was hoping.
Yeah, oh no is what I'm saying.
Okay, so let me go ahead and take over then. We only have 2 minutes. Oh, you're a time bomb.
I'll tell them about it. This is a place where you can create an account, and it has tons of videos, tons of handouts for you on specific areas of training. Okay? When Donna or myself or Bernita and whoever are not available, this would be your next resort to go in and try to get help. Okay? But there are a lot of good videos and handouts here that you can print, you can save them, and they're very beneficial for you to go into this My Savvas training and create an account. Christy, this is probably something you may want to share with your administrator also, mysavvastraining.com, so that they know after the specialists that are assigned to JCPS, like myself and Donna, this is another option for them to go and get training on the program.
Yeah, I have mine shared now. I don't know if you want to change the screen over to mine.
Yep.
I do have.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, it's on-demand training, and you have the Get Started. Oh, you can review some recorded webinars that have already been done, talking about Let's Explore, Hot Topics, #1, and I'm in the Envision program. It's $2.59, so I'm going to go ahead and take it back to Matt, but please reach out to us if you have any questions or concerns, and all these links are in the documentation, the slide presentation.
Awesome. Well, Chris, Donna, Laura, thank you so much for being here with us all week long. We really appreciate it. To all of our teachers in the chat watching still, thank you for tuning in this afternoon. Please go enjoy the rest of your beautiful afternoon. We are here to answer any questions you may have. They already gave you all of their contact information. I put the tweet in the chat for your Zone Digital Innovation leaders. Please reach out to us if you need any help as well. And remember that we have the Savvas support playlist on the Digital Learning Channel, in addition to a slew of other playlists on there for you. We are all here to help you as you prepare to get back to in-person or virtual or whatever you may be doing after March 15th or April 5th or whenever our multiple dates are to come back and change our outlook on school for the rest of the year. So thank you so much for being here, and please let us know how we can continue to support. And Chris, Laura, Donna, thank you so much again.
Thank you.
All right, hope you all have a great rest of your Wednesday.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, bye everyone. Thank you so much.